Welcome to the second battle between Johnny, playing as Bactria this time, against Evilbot, playing as Epirus. Johnny has placed two of his Diadochi spears alongside three of his Bactrian pikemen here, so a little bit unusual, because traditionally you have all your pikemen together. But Bactrian pikemen are inferior to the bronze pikes, so this time he's not going to play to the advantage of Epirus here. He's leaving a gap here, using the wide formation of the Diadochi spears. He can maybe hold up more units, giving him more flanking opportunity here on the sides. So Scorpio here to zone out cavalry. The important thing for Johnny here is that all these units have bonus versus cavalry. So now cavalry is going to smash through here and get to the Scorpio. Let's see here. He has 4 units of Greek Bactrian assault infantry. These men are flexible. They have a big bonus versus elephants, and that's their primary strength and attack. But they also have bonus versus infantry and cavalry, and armor piercing ability, so they can deal damage to more armored units. He has 2 more pikemen over on this side. He has Sogdian axemen here, and these are very aggressive infantry. A very big charge, very big bonus versus armor piercing, bonus versus elephants. What's not to like? They have low armor here, but if they're protected from missiles, then it won't matter that much. We have a noble cavalry here for the Bactrian general. We have Indian elephants. We have a Bactrian light cavalry. They have a little bit better charge than a Bactrian horse archer unit. And we have also 2 units of Sogdian camel riders armed with bows and a scare of cavalry. That's the Bactrian army. This side is weaker. We also have an earlier version of the Bactrian assault infantry here. Same thing as with this unit, just a little bit better, worse melee stats, less armor and no javelin, but still a very flexible unit that can also deal damage to cavalry and elephants for that matter. The Epirus under Evilbot, they have placed themselves more traditionally with the pikemen in the center. Is protecting his infantry here with the Diadochi spear. There's 4 units of Diadochi spears, 5 bronze pikes, and he's gathering up here because he seems to have been anticipating this time. But okay, it's likely that Johnny's gonna come through this side. So I'm going to be prepared here with some infantry and just make a wide swing attack and then attack. His problem here is mainly that these elephants are not joining with these men, if that's your main push. So your elephants are way back. They're immune to the Scorpio, so they can be more far forward. And having at least 1 cavalry unit here, since Johnny had all his cavalry concentrated on one side, like being defensive here, holding off the enemy, whilst you could smash through. You could maybe route this side if you just pin them down for a short while, and then get a good cavalry charge, because most of Johnny's cavalry are very light. They can't stand up to your cavalry. What kind of cavalry does Epirus have? He has royal cavalry. These are more melee oriented cavalry. They have a bonus versus cavalry also, but they're slow. So wrong kind of cavalry here. Larissa Lancers very fast, very good charge. They will be able to catch, but the Salients would have been more armored beforehand. Leopards are moving here up in a concentrated line here. What to do? Turn this way, turn these men a little bit to the side, add more infantry here, send some cavalry units over here, or the elephants for that matter, and all of a sudden see, what is this Scorpio doing? It is zoning out. The Sogdian camel riders are coming in here. The Greek javelin men of Epirus are now hurling javelins at them. Bronze pikemen are keeping pushing here. some Sogdians drop, and good for Epirus that Epirus is killing off some cavalry units. These men are going for a far flank, but these Tyreus spears are getting hit, and there's far more support here for Bactria than what these 3 units can provide. All the cavalry here is far back. Why? Because it's been zoned out by the Scorpio. These elephants need to move up. They're too far back. If you can't deny, then far too aggressive here. He's going to play on the strength of his pikemen here. He's going to go for it. These Greek javelin men must hurl at these Tyreus spears. If not, then hit the pikes, but you would have been more it would have been more useful to hit these Tyreus spears here. Either go with your elephants through the Tyreus spears and then into the side of these men, or go through, because right now there's a gap over here that these pikemen are angled. That's good for them, but they're like these. John is just concentrating his forces here. Let's take a look at what's happening here. The Bactrian general is being hit by the javelins. Very good of Epirus to do so, but there's too few infantry over here, and there's a gap emerging now. There's a big gap over here. These Epiroti troops must turn inwards because there might be a gap over here as well. These Tyreus spears are not attacking. This support infantry of Epirus is on its own. There's no cavalry here to support, no missiles here to support. 2 units of Tyreus spears here. They're trying to damage up the elephants, but it's not working. And these Sogdians are very good against the Tyreus spears, for example. The Greco-Bactrian general has, however, taken lots of damage here. Now the Epiroti cavalry is moving up here, but the elephants are not present with them. And since the camel riders have a scare effect on cavalry also. Let's see here, this Tyreus spear could have flanked, but again there's 2 freed up Bactrian units here. One of them could go for this little gap over here, the other one can hit this little gap over there. But the Greek assault infantry are now moving backwards here because they are afraid of the flanking. Yeah, this is a distraction fight. Not really important. The important thing is over here, and these bronze pikemen are gonna break. There's no other support units here for Epirus that can help deal with this one. And again, this bronze pike on the side are gonna get broken up. Good of the Tyreus swordsmen to hurl javelins and hit the unshielded side of the enemy. Unfortunately, it's not going to help him. The bronze pikemen are not really in a line, and that just makes them even easier to flank. Johnny didn't need to send in 2 units over here. Like this unit can easily attack this unit, or send it through here. However, it doesn't matter to him. He has won the cavalry fight. This general is trying to escape, but the flaw here is that the Epiroti general has 6 speed, and these Sogdian riders have 7 speed, and a scare against elephants. I mean, scare against cavalry. They scare cavalry simply. And there are also elephants here, so these men break very, very easily, with a lot of men remaining in them. And now there's just a massive disadvantage here for Epirus. The elephants were not committed in time. The Epiroti elephants are charging in here, but there's a very big bonus for elephants here. But these men are demoralized because they're being flanked, and they actually break. So these Epiroti elephants have been useful in breaking up a Bactrian phalanx. So imagine if you had pushed through the center, pushed through the Tyreus spears, and then smash this side if you have available support infantry. Like again, like it's easy to say in hindsight, but could have been a plan. There wasn't much here. Everything was concentrated on this side. Now what Bactria is doing is killing off the Epirus general here. You get a demoralization effect on the Tyrosi spears and Tyrosi swords. This bronze pikeman got decimated. There's a flank going in here against this unit, and more units are just being freed up now. They all go for far flanking here. These Greek javelin men cannot stop them, and the elephants are being hunted down by the camel riders. And now the Bactrian general are charging the rear of these pikemen. That is enough to demoralize them. A scare ability is popped here, and now some more assault infantry are going in here. The more charges you get off, like these men have a very good charge, so that's now they have been slaughtering this unit. The Greek javelin men are also being slaughtered. Bronze pikemen cannot hold against Indian elephants. And there's a massive flanking opportunity here for Johnny. And again these men, and now the Epirus general has been killed also. Yeah, sorry, it's quite early for me. So yeah, another. Yeah, and these infantry breaks now. Good game to both players here. Unfortunately, this was the wrong type of cavalry. It was very heavy, but against Bactrians, you don't really lead. Like at most, at best, the Bactrians have like 2 units maybe of heavy cavalry. Most of the time, these camel riders would have still been melted in an actual melee fight if there was no support nearby. You stretched out some of your infantry far forward on the flank. The infantry should have been kept together. The elephants of yours should have went either with the cavalry or gone through the Tyrosi spears in the center, which doesn't really because there wasn't much there that could have been exploited. And again, this could have been more viable. Yes, you don't have javelin men here, but you have archers, Bactrian cavalry, Bactrian light cavalry very light. The Sogdian axemen are very light. You can still hit the earlier versions of assault infantry. Again, would have been outclassed by bowmen, but you also have Thessalians, diamond formation, 8 speed, you have armor, you have far more javelins here, so definitely could have also used this as a skirmishy type. These men are sort of like skirmishers. You hurl the javelins at the unshielded side of the enemy, then you move in. Still would have lots of spear support, you still have the elephants. It's a tricky formation, but you cannot allow your bronze pikemen to get flanked. And unfortunately, when you moved 3 units to the side, like 2 Tyrosi spears and 1 swordsman far flanked, that means that your main infantry force lacked the supporting troops it needed to be able to deal with the Bactrian infantry pushing in. The elephants were not with your cavalry. They should have been committed earlier with the cavalry, because your infantry got beaten before that. There was a big gap that the Bactrian infantry used, like the Bactrian assault infantry. They got to the flank of your bronze shields, and that cost you the battle, because all your bronze pikes were lacking support on the wings. And your bronze pikes moved up, and that allowed themselves to get more vulnerable on the flanks, because each of these men were, even though they were engaged separately, it could have also been flanked separately and been more easily destroyed. So having some archers to deal with Sogdian camel riders, or the Sogdian axemen for that matter, you could have shot into their flank. And then with these javelins also would have been a little bit more formidable. The Scorpio would still have been a problem for you. But if Johnny would have went with the same formation against this army, you stick your infantry together and just try to hold out and shoot up the Sogdian camel riders, for example, with your archers. You still have javelins. You could have maybe smashed through, if you formed your elephants to a column, smash through the center of the line against the Tyreosi spears. Pin the other side where Johnny is not attacking, because you still have 4 speed. He can't run away. Then you can go with a cavalry unit. Have the cavalry even on both wings first. Then you could have smashed that side maybe quickly, rolled up the center, and then a massive engagement there in the flank, and we would have seen what came up on top. The Bactrian infantry cavalry, was far lighter. They wouldn't have won on their own against the Epirotic cavalry. But unfortunately for Epirus, Bactria managed to beat up the supporting troops for the Epirotes. And that also meant that these cavalry was isolated. There were no elephants nearby for Epirus to help. And the Bactrian elephants, along with the camels, made a scare effect that routed cavalry. So unfortunately for Evilbot, he lost he's out of the tournament. And good job to Johnny here. Thank you for watching. Bye.